A judge has ruled that one of the lawsuits concerning the settlement agreement with the former city administrator of Davenport can go forward to trial. Now, here's what happened. Now, this is the lawsuit brought by Davenport resident Ezra Sidran after he put in open records requests for any communications about the settlement agreements with Corri Spiegel, the former city administrator, and two other employees. Now, it took a year and an order from a judge for that letter to finally be released, and he says that that year-long wait constitutes a violation of the Open Records Act. Now, the city moved to dismiss the case and also remove individual council members from the lawsuit. Sidran argues that the Open Records Act actually allows you to name these individual elected officials as part of a lawsuit in a violation of the act. The judge ruled that there's still a question of fact whether individual city council members were involved in delaying the release of this record, so that motion to remove the city council members from the lawsuit was denied. Now, this next part, the judge actually laid into the city for some of their arguments. When Sidran was first filing his Freedom of Information Act requests, the city ended up suing him to allow a judge to decide if the Spiegel letter was confidential HR material or if it was a public record. The judge did ultimately rule that the Spiegel letter is public, but he didn't say anything about the question of the delay, so he left that open. Now, the city's trying to argue in the lawsuit from Sidran against the city, they're trying to argue that because the judge ruled in that previous lawsuit from the city against Sidran, that they can't rule about the question of the reasonableness of the delay of this document, because there was a ruling in that case already. Now, let me read what the judge called this. He said to say that these arguments are disingenuous is putting it mildly. He also called it shrewd lawyering. Now, the question of the reasonableness of the delay was never decided, so that will be what is decided in the trial coming up at the end of January. There will also be the question of who was responsible for the delay in getting the Spiegel demand letter to Sidran. Now, that trial will be January 28th at 9 a.m. in the Scott County Courthouse.